Good morning, everyone. I am Katie Cartman, the Director of Religious Education here at Emerson Unitarian Universalist Church in Houston, Texas. Our beloved community of faith, reason, and affection welcomes all to grow in mind and spirit as together, we build a better world. If you are joining us for the first time today, we extend a special welcome to you and invite you to fill out our visitor card, either the yellow card in your pews or the link in our YouTube, so you can receive more information about Emerson and our activities. Again, welcome to all. We are a church in many places, some of us right here in the pews right now, and some joining us on YouTube from home or wherever we might be. And our world is a different one than it was in early 2020. Our worship service has changed accordingly. We're giving people choices in the pews as to distance between families and whether or not they would like to continue masking. We've put a few offering baskets at the front and back of the sanctuary for people to drop off their offering throughout the service, rather than passing the plates. For those of us who are in the sanctuary this morning, let's take a moment to picture the dozens of friends, neighbors, and those we've not met yet who are taking part in the service on YouTube, either right now or later this week as schedules allow. And also, please, if you are here right now, remember to silence your cell phones. We're happy with you tweeting out your favorite parts, but we don't want to hear the dings and the rings. Following the worship service, folks in the pews may head out to the gathering place for snacks and beverages, perhaps head out to the courtyard and playground to chat. And we'll also have social time on Zoom, hosted by Emersonian Marilyn Rambo. A chance for you to gather in smaller groups to discuss the service and what's going on in your lives. And now for our prelude.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Michelle LaGrave, the interim minister of this congregation. This morning's service is called a post-AI faith. Where do the humans fit in? We will be exploring the ways in which human faith communities and artificial intelligence can intersect and overlap, whether they should or not, and what it might all mean for the exercise of a faith built on a foundation of free will. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, Wherever you find yourself on your life's journey, whichever your pronouns, whether you've walked in or rolled in or dialed in, whomever you love, you are welcome here. You belong here.
Our opening words are by, question mark? I'm not sure what that's about. Welcome to this gathering of open hearts and curious minds. We come from different backgrounds and have different beliefs, but we share a common commitment to the values of love, justice, and compassion. Let us join together in community, seeking truth, honoring diversity, and growing in our quest for a better world. May we be open to the mystery and wonder of life and to the possibilities that lie before us. May this time together be one of inspiration and renewal as we draw strength from each other and from the spirit of life that binds us together.
Elena will be lighting our chalice for us this morning. We light this chalice, the beacon of our faith, in celebration of the unity of all souls and the diversity of our paths. May its lights remind us of our connections to one another and to the world around us. May its warmth inspire us to reach out in love and compassion to all those in need. May we gather in the spirit of community, seeking truth, honoring diversity, and growing in our quest for justice and peace. And with that, let us rise either in body or spirit and join in singing our opening hymn, which is number 128, For All That Is Our Life.
Once upon a time, in the not-too-distant future, the world was a busy place. People were always rushing from one place to another, trying to fit as much as they could into their day. But despite their best efforts, they always seemed to be running out of time. That's when the robots came along. They were unlike any robots they had ever been seen before. They were sleek, efficient, and capable of performing a wide variety of tasks. And best of all, they were designed to help humans save time. At first, people were skeptical. They weren't sure they wanted robots to take over their jobs or their daily tasks. But as they began to see the benefits of having robots around, they started to warm up to the idea. One of the first areas where robots made a big impact was in the workplace. They could handle tasks like data entry, accounting, and even customer service, freeing up human employees to focus on more complex and creative work. And because the robots were so fast and accurate, they could get a lot more done in a shorter amount of time. But it wasn't just in the workplace where robots were making a difference. They also started showing up in people's homes, performing tasks like cleaning, cooking, and even taking care of pets. With the robots handling these time-consuming chores, people suddenly had more time to spend with their families, pursue hobbies, or just relax and unwind. As the years went by, the robots continued to evolve and became even more advanced. They were able to take on more complex tasks, like driving cars or performing surgery, and they did it all with the same goal in mind: to save humans time and make their lives easier. In the end, the robots proved to be an invaluable asset to humanity. They allowed people to be more productive, to achieve more in their lives, and to spend more time doing the things they love. And best of all, they did it all without ever complaining or taking a day off. And now, our offering. Giving out of what is our own is a transformative act. As a community of faith, we collect an offering, not for ourselves or our congregation, but to give to others, as a collective action of our community, and as a way to live out our shared values. Please give with a generous heart to support our February Share the Plate recipient, last chance, the Houston Food Bank. The Houston Food Bank serves 1 million food-insecure people in Southeast Texas. Not only does this organization put food on plates, but they help families achieve long-term stability through education, job training, and social service connections. And the remaining 25% of our offering goes to our ongoing commitment to Interfaith Ministries' Meals on Wheels, feeding Houston seniors. We have 3 ways to give. You can go to our webpage for online giving, or you can put your offering in a basket or mail a check to the church. Thank you, and at the end of the music, children will be heading to Sunday school.
Let us enter into a time of meditation. Begin by finding a comfortable seated position. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, let go of any tension or stress you may be holding in your body. As you continue to breathe deeply, allow your mind to settle into a place of stillness and peace. Notice any thoughts or feelings that arise, but try not to get caught up in them. Simply acknowledge them and let them pass. As you sit in this place of stillness, reflect on the values that are at the heart of Unitarian Universalism: love, justice, compassion, and the inherent worth and dignity of all beings. Imagine these values as a bright light shining within you and radiating out into the world around you. As you continue to breathe, allow this light to grow and expand, filling your entire being with its warmth and radiance. Imagine it flowing out of you, touching the hearts and minds of all those around you. As you sit in this place of stillness and radiance, know that you are a part of something greater than yourself. You are connected to a community of people who share your values and who are working to create a better world. Take one more deep breath in, and as you exhale, slowly open your eyes. Carry this sense of peace and radiance with you into your day, knowing that you are a part of something greater than yourself, and that you have the power to make a positive difference in the world. Now let us enter into the silence together. Amen, and blessed be. Our reading this morning is a poem written in honor of Unitarian Universalism. In our church, we gather diverse. Our paths and beliefs we do converse. With open hearts and open minds, we seek to serve all humankind. We light a chalice, symbol of hope, in a world where many cannot cope. With justice, equity, and love, we stand together, hand in glove. We honor all of every creed and strive for unity in word and deed. For in our differences we find strength, and together we go to great length. To build a world of peace and care, to make our presence felt everywhere. For in this faith we find our voice, and in our love we all rejoice. Do we have some? There we go. Has anyone noticed anything unusual about the service today? Anybody wondering if your staff might have lost it? Or if my writing's taken a turn for the worst? The opening words, chalice lighting, story, meditation, and reading were all written by artificial intelligence. I'm going to pause a moment and allow that one to sink in. Much of today's worship service was written by artificial intelligence. These are words I never dreamed I would ever say. And I suspect there might be some kind of staff betting pool going on about whether I could get through the poem without giggling. So anyways, I'll tell you more about that in a moment. The AI, not the betting pool which probably doesn't exist. I'm just imagining that. But first, I want to back up a little bit. So it was just shy of 3 years ago that we embarked on a long and treacherous journey through a worldwide pandemic that, among other things, transformed the way we worship and do all things church. We closed our buildings for many months at a time. Staff worked almost exclusively from home. We worshiped via video conference and held church meetings online. We struggled to stay spiritually and emotionally connected while remaining physically distant. We struggled through a quagmire of technological issues and fixes that came upon us at what felt like too rapid a pace. We struggled through ethical questions about payroll and copyright law, as well as the health and safety not just of our own community here, but of everyone we might come in contact with. It was a time of not just rapid change, but true transformation in congregational life. And this continued as we began to return to our buildings and learned about multi-platform worship and live-streamed worship and continued some church meetings online and chose to gather in person for other meetings and events. Worship leaders learned to write liturgy that sounded more like a screenplay, indicating which cameras and which microphones should be used for what and when. We came to appreciate the benefits and the drawbacks of technology. It was a lot. It was a lot. And it happened in a relatively short period of time. There was no gradual adaptation to pandemic life or the ways in which it would alter community life for better or for worse and from now on. Can you imagine that? It's only 3 years ago that the only way you could come to this worship service is if you came here. Only 3 years ago. And now, here we are on the cusp of another huge technological breakthrough, which has the potential to revolutionize our lives as much as the internet once did. But this time we'll have less time to adapt. It's already here. And I don't know about you, but I am not feeling prepared. So what happened? What is happening? Some of you already know. One of you even already texted me and guessed what I was doing. Michael Bloom. For others, I'm going to start talking in what might sound like gibberish. AI, artificial intelligence, has been around for a little while now in what is referred to as a weak form. Examples include Alexa, Siri, and Google Assistant. In November, a new AI called ChatGPT was released in a much more powerful form. ChatGPT is a chatbot. That basically means you can have a conversation with it and ask it to do things for you. But instead of simply asking it to tell you a joke or put something on your shopping list or give you directions while driving somewhere, it can also write a sermon or a chalice lighting or a college essay for you. It can answer questions and take tests and even write programming code for you. It is simple, easy, and fast to use. All you do is search the internet for ChatGPT, open a basic free account, and type your questions and requests in the box. For example, you can ask it to write you a poem, or a Unitarian Universalist chalice lighting, or opening words, or meditation. And that's what I did. You can also ask it to tell you a joke, although Alexa can do that too. And some are better than the others. Here's a joke that ChatGPT told me. Why did the math book look sad? Because it had too many problems. Unlike Alexa or Siri or Google, ChatGPT is not connected to the entirety of the internet, only the humongous amounts of material on which it was trained. So it can't tell you what the weather is in any given location right now, or anything that relies on real-time data. That's probably smart. One question that I've been wondering about, though, is who decided, or how was it decided, to include a ton of information on Unitarian Universalism in its training manual? But I'll put that one aside for the moment. Maybe someone will be able to answer that for me someday. ChatGPT is an amazing tool, but as many have already pointed out, we'll need to take care in the ways that we decide to use this tool. It has the potential to become another ethical quagmire. When I mentioned that ChatGPT has the ability to take tests, I wasn't talking about something as simple as a third-grade multiplication test, though it could certainly do that. No, I mean big tests, important tests. According to CNET, Google programmer Kenneth Goodman tried ChatGPT on a number of exams. It scored 70% on the United States medical licensing examination, 70% on a bar exam for lawyers, 78% on New York State's high school chemistry exams, multiple choice section. And it ranked in the 40th percentile on the law school admission test. So while the ethics of law and medicine are certainly important areas to think about, I'd like to return to the question most immediately relevant to us as a community of faith. How can or how will artificial intelligence impact human spirituality? When I asked ChatGPT whether it can write a sermon, this is what it said. As an AI language model, I can certainly generate text on various topics, including sermons. However, it is important to note that a sermon is a deeply personal and meaningful message that typically reflects the beliefs and values of the speaker and the community they serve. Therefore, it would be more appropriate for a religious leader or member of the clergy to write a sermon based on their own spiritual and philosophical perspective. However, if you have a specific topic or theme in mind, I can certainly help you generate some content that you may find helpful or inspirational. Okay. I would agree with that. Sermons are deeply personal and meaningful messages about beliefs and values. And I don't think it is hubris to say that most congregations are going to want to hear from their faith leaders personally rather than an AI. But what would an AI say in a sermon? I was curious. So I asked it for a sermon on the ethics of artificial intelligence. This is what it said. I didn't ask for a specific length, so it's a rather short sermon. Dear friends, as we continue to advance technologically, we are faced with new ethical questions, particularly when it comes to artificial intelligence. AI has the potential to improve our lives in many ways, from increasing efficiency to enhancing medical care. However, it is also important to consider the ethical implications of AI, particularly when it comes to issues such as privacy, bias, and control. First, let us consider the issue of privacy. With AI, we are able to collect and analyze vast amounts of data, which can be used to improve our understanding of human behavior and preferences. However, this also raises concerns about how that data is being used and who has access to it. We must ensure that individuals' privacy is respected and protected, and that AI is used ethically and responsibly. Second, we must consider the issue of bias. AI systems are only as good as the data they are trained on. And if that data is biased, then the system will be biased as well. This can have serious implications, particularly when it comes to areas such as employment, housing, and criminal justice. We must ensure that AI systems are developed and trained in a way that is unbiased and equitable, and that they are regularly audited and monitored to ensure that they are not perpetuating systemic biases. Finally, we must consider the issue of control. As AI becomes increasingly advanced, there is a risk that it may become difficult, if not impossible, to control. This raises concerns about who is making decisions about how AI is developed and deployed, and how those decisions are being made. We must ensure that AI is developed and deployed in a way that is transparent and accountable, and that it serves the best interests of humanity as a whole. In conclusion, as we continue to develop and deploy AI, we must do so with a strong ethical framework in mind. We must ensure that AI is used to benefit humanity, and that it is developed and deployed in a way that is responsible, equitable, and transparent. Let us work together to build a future where AI is used ethically and responsibly, and where it enhances our lives and our communities. Amen. So clearly, someone taught the AI about the 3-point sermon. But it was the amen at the end that actually made me laugh out loud, as it did for you. And again, it had some good points I would agree with. And I feel like I should insert here, one of the common problems with ChatGPT is that you can't rely on its accuracy. It does give you wrong answers and false information. So always verify. So I tried to up my game. Does anyone want to try to guess which question I asked it next? Michael.
ChatGPT, please write a sermon that does not sound like it's written by AI.
I'm going to try that next. I asked it, does God exist? And this is what it said. The question of whether or not God exists is a deeply personal and philosophical one, and opinions on the matter can vary widely depending on one's cultural, religious, and philosophical background. As an AI language model, I do not have personal beliefs or opinions, but I can provide some information on the topic. Throughout history, people have debated the existence of God or gods, and various philosophical arguments have been put forth, both in support of and against the existence of a higher power. Some arguments for the existence of God include the design argument, which posits that the complexity and order of the universe suggest the existence of an intelligent designer, and the moral argument, which suggests that the existence of objective moral values implies the existence of a moral lawgiver. On the other hand, arguments against the existence of God include the problem of evil, which suggests that the existence of evil and suffering in the world is incompatible with the existence of an all-powerful and benevolent God, and the argument from naturalism, which posits that natural causes can explain all phenomena, including the origin of the universe. Ultimately, whether or not God exists is a matter of personal belief and faith, and it is up to each individual to decide what they believe based on their own experiences, reasoning, and values. Well, that sounds like a pretty you answer. Which made me wonder about plagiarism. If ChatGPT is trained to recognize language patterns, then does it plagiarize? Can it plagiarize? The answer is yes. According to Stephen Shankland of CNET, researchers at Penn State investigated just this question with a similar AI technology and found that it plagiarized in 3 different ways: by copying word by word, by paraphrasing, and by using ideas without citing sources. They also found that the larger the amount of data inputted during the training process, the more often the plagiarism occurred. Which led me to think about who the AI was plagiarizing. Well, it seems to me that the most likely source of training material would have been UU ministers and lay worship leaders who had put their materials online. Which brings things back full circle to other humans, maybe even myself. Now, is that mind-bending or what? So if I am using as a human, using ChatGPT, which is using other humans and plagiarizing what other humans have said, then does that mean I am plagiarizing what the other humans have said? I have no idea who to cite because ChatGPT didn't give me the sources. How messy and weird is that? There are so many things to think about when it comes to the ethics of writing. Does ChatGPT need to be listed as a source? Can AI be an author? Some journals have already said no and prohibited the practice. What happens when the AI itself is plagiarizing? Is it even possible to trace ideas and phrases back to an original source? What does all of this mean for the concept of intellectual property? Is it now moot? But the even bigger question for us, I think, is the question of freedom. And by that, I mean freedom of thought. What does it really mean for humans to think for themselves spiritually? To preserve our freedom of religion, especially when all of our ancestors paid such a high price in so many different ways for that right? Are we headed toward a world in which AI teaches us and leads us in our religious beliefs and practices? Are we headed toward a world in which AI leads worship? And if so, if AI is leading our worship, then who will we be worshiping? I don't normally go in the dystopian direction. I'd rather read a utopian novel. But man, I've got questions. I've got lots of questions and few answers for now. All I know is that whatever the answers are, we will find them by working together as a community of faith and with a theology of love. Love for one another and love as an ultimate value. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be. And let us rise, either in body or spirit, for our closing hymn. We are building a new way, not written by an AI. As you come and as you go, go in peace, with love in your hearts, kindness on your lips, and compassion at your fingertips, blessing all others as you yourselves are now blessed. Amen, and blessed be. For our announcements today, there will be social time here out in the gathering place behind you or outside if you'd rather get outside, as well as on the Zoom. The lunch bunch will be going to Torchy's Tacos. Okay. And I'll also let you know that I will be away this coming week on a Southwest Ministers retreat in Louisiana, where I've been given the honor of being asked to share my life odyssey. So I will be away, but we now have 8 fully trained members of the lay pastoral ministry team, so all will be well in hand. I'm so excited, and we'll share more about that in a service in March, but they're ready to go. All right, thank you, everyone.